Hey everyone, Amanda Mazey here with Country Roads Trust with WVU Gymnast Chloe Asper. Chloe, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate this.
Oh, thank you.
Let's talk about your journey to WVU, and let's talk about, first of all, your journey into gymnastics. Now, you didn't start till about 10, which kind of is like senior citizen age in gymnastics, right? Most girls start pretty young.
Yeah.
So talk about how you got involved with gymnastics.
Okay, well, most girls usually start when they're like 3 years old and they do mommy and me classes. I actually started in cheerleading and my mom was the coach, so it was pretty easy for me to transition into there. I started that when I was like 3 or 4. From the moment I could start, I loved tumbling, so that was like my thing. But eventually we had to change locations, and when we did that, we ended up being in the same facility as a gymnastics program. And eventually the cheer program kind of disbanded, and they were begging me to join this gymnastics program for the longest time. So I finally switched over, but that was crazy because I only had the tumbling background. So things like the bars were really, really hard for me to catch up.
Yeah. But you say your favorite event now is the beam.
Yes.
Right? Why do you love the beam so much?
I really like the beam because I feel like it's more mental than the other events. And if you can really hone in on that, I feel like you can really succeed. I find myself up there and it's really calming. And as long as you can get yourself to remember your cue words and remember what you need to do, it's really good.
If you've never been to a WVU gymnastics meet, I highly recommend you going. It's so much fun. There's so much going on. So while you guys are competing, like at the vault, you have another team competing on the floor. So there's like a little bit of action everywhere. Mm-hmm. So as an athlete, with so much going on and the fans, how do you concentrate? Because you are on a beam like that wide. How are you able to concentrate with all of the stuff going on around you?
For me, it's really about like breathing and coming back to where you are in this moment and what's important. So typically I'll anchor beam and I am unable to watch any of our beam routines up until I go. I stand at the corner, I look at the wall, and I still cheer for everyone, but I just cheer towards the wall because I'm a little too nervous.
That's good to know. So if you see her, she's not being disrespectful to her teammates, right?
But I'll stand there and just looking at something constant instead of the crowd around you, the other team, anybody else. It's really calming just to come back to this moment where you are in the present. So
that's amazing. Mm-hmm. All right, Chloe, let's talk about your journey to America. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting story. You were born, and I'm going to let you take the story from there.
Okay. Well, my mom actually adopted me when I was 9 months old. And what happened was I was left in front of a convenience store with the umbilical cord still on, and I was taken to the orphanage, and around 3 months old, my mom started the journey to adopt me. And what happened was she came, she picked me up, she knew that she always wanted to be a mother. She adopted me as a single mother, so she knew that she wanted to adopt a girl from China from the minute that she knew she wanted to be a mom. And basically what happened was that, honestly. Yeah. It's honestly such a touching story because, well, my mom always tells me I was the only girl at the orphanage that didn't cry when I got in her arms, and I don't know if she's just being sappy about that, but honestly, all the pictures, I love it because, like, you can see, like, we didn't have a lot of clothes there. They didn't have a lot for like all the girls there, but my middle name is actually like derived from what they like called me there. It's Pansy Young, and it stands for strength and perseverance. So yeah.
So your birth mother gives birth to you, just drops you off in front of a convenience store with the umbilical cord. I mean, you were able to survive that. So I mean, I think your middle name really fits you. You don't know anything about that family?
No. Yeah.
Would you be able to, if you wanted to, try to research that, or that would just be so hard?
Personally, I feel so loved by my family and fulfilled. I don't see any reason to go and find them. The one thing that I think would be interesting, though, is maybe like my medical history. I don't have any history of that. If I have any siblings, I've always had those types of questions, but the timing that I was left was actually really ironic. Not ironic, it makes sense because it's during the time of the one-child policy in China, where a lot of children were being abandoned because of that. They didn't have access to like women's health care in order to prevent that. So a lot of them wanted boys. So me as a girl, there was a lot of orphaned baby girls.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing, Chloe. And to have you here, that's amazing. So you probably don't even know like your real birthday, do you?
No, they had to estimate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like joked with my mom when I was younger. It's like, we could celebrate a few days early.
Every single day could be your birthday.
You never know.
What's it been like growing up with your mom? You said she's a single mother. What's that been like? And I can only imagine the bond you guys have.
I don't know how they do it, but apparently they match us based off of like personality. They did too well, because my mom had to have done something. We are so similar. Our mannerisms, our personalities, we merged so well. And as I was growing up, it was almost like my second parent was my grandma. So it was like the three of us for the longest time, but my grandma sadly passed away when I was in the 7th grade. So ever since then, it's just been me and my mom. And with COVID, my transition to college, I feel like our relationship has only gotten stronger. Every time I talk to her, I always have something to talk about. I'm always updating her on my life, and same her to me.
Oh, that's amazing. So you live about 3 hours away, and I imagine she's able to come to all of your meets. And what's it like to know that you just have that support, not just, away from the gym, but at your meets as well?
She's always just been so loving and supportive, and she's always pushed me, and like, she's a part of my drive for all of my goals. If I have a goal, she wants it just as bad, if not more than me. So it feels amazing to know that she's always going to be there for me. Doesn't matter what it is. I could text her one day and she'll come down and visit. Like, it's so nice.
That's really cool. Let's talk about just being in the gym. The teammates, I always see gymnasts, they're just so supportive of each other, just rooting each other on. It's really a unique sport, isn't it?
I'd say so.
Yeah. And how do you guys like keep that going? Because, sometimes girls can be a little catty, let's be honest. I mean, it is what it is, but it just, when it clicks, it clicks. Just talk about the relationships that you have with your teammates.
I'd say what makes our team so like different and close is like the support we have for each other. We know what you're feeling when you're up on that bar and what you need. We help out by yelling cue words, cheering for one another, because the energy is really, really important. Anytime motivation is down, we come together and we talk like, hey guys, we know it's hard right now, like either during preseason, middle of season, whenever your school is hard, like you can tell when the energy's down, but I feel like we can always come together, know what we need to do for the day, and get it done.
From week to week, does your routine change? Or is it pretty much the same from meet to meet? It's just some days you perform it better than others?
I mean, I feel like you can definitely feel an effect on your body, especially because occasionally we have double weekends, so that'll really take a strain on you when you're going fly competition, compared to when we have treatments before and after practice, or when we have the opportunity to get like conditioning in. So I definitely feel like your performance can be strained a little bit from there, but it's all about knowing what your body needs and how you need to take care of it.
Because really, I mean, gymnasts, what you guys do is pretty hard on your body. I mean, you're contorting it in ways that I could not even imagine. But I mean, it can be pretty hard on your body.
Yeah.
And you actually broke your arm one time, but it wasn't like necessarily during a gymnastics routine.
The only major like break I had was like, I forget how old I was. I think I was literally like 13 years old, and we were doing conditioning, and we have the ropes that like connect to the ceiling, and we climb it without legs. And I've probably done that a million times, but this time I was just going, I slipped my hand, I fell from the top of the rope all the way down, and I broke my elbow.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the only major break I've ever had in gymnastics, and all I did was just fall off a rope.
Better let's knock on some wood anywhere around here. Nothing else
please.
happens. Jason will kill me if anything happens. What will be next for you after gymnastics?
Well, right now I am currently interested in pursuing a PhD clinical psychology program. I'm looking at what I'd like to specify in, because I've been looking at couples, children, whatever. I'm still looking for what suits me best, but I know that I want to work with people in that capacity.
What's your time like been at WVU, and especially in this world of like NIL? Now there are opportunities that you didn't have 2 years ago. Just the craziness of everything that's gone on here.
It's been a wild ride, especially because just finding myself as I'm coming to college. I feel like it's the time for a lot of college students to understand who they are as a person and what they value and what their goals are. So coming into this and learning about NIL, at first, I had no idea about it, and I was kind of like, oh, that's a cool thing, but I'm not sure like what I can do as an individual athlete, this little gymnast from West Virginia. There's so many gymnasts all over the country, but being able to see the opportunities that are being spread throughout our community, it's really amazing to see what the like outspread is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Chloe, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah,
I
good
really
luck the
appreciate
rest of the
it.
season.
Thank you.
Thanks.